13. One big thing you have to worry about is their interpupillary distance. So the reason being is that most virtual reality headsets, the lenses, they do have a little bit of a space that is designed more towards adults. However, it doesn't mean that every kiddo you put into virtual reality is going to, get a headache or get nauseous. So it is strictly just a caution. So just be wary. So if your patient is one who can do virtual reality exercises, then just kind of keep that in the back of your head, just in case. Now, most of the lenses as well in these headsets, they are big enough to where their interpupillary distance sometimes isn't as big of a deal, but it just kind of depends on what headset you're using. So it's always wise to be very knowledgeable about what headset you're going to be using. So for instance, we're going to be using the Pico Neo. Looks kind of like this. And so just due to our knowledge of this, we know that we can put kiddos in this, and I put kiddos in this all the way, as young as age 6. And they've done just fine and have had a blast, just really using this unique modality. Okay, now let's go more to the contraindications. So it's pretty simple. So if there is any kind of seizure activity based on visual stimulus, so like epilepsy, or just a history of seizures, then those are typically contraindications. Now, if their seizures are controlled by medication, and maybe the last time they had a seizure was like 5 or 10 years ago, then it kind of turns in more into a caution. And so it's best to go ahead and reach out to their referring physician to go ahead and tell them why you want to use the virtual reality as a modality, kind of describe the whole process to them, and then make sure you can get clearance just to play it safe. Because the last thing we want to do, no matter how cool a modality is endanger our patients for anything. So those are kind of the cautions and contraindications. Okay, so let's begin to talk about our patient. His name is Sal. So he has a little bit of weakness on his right side. So a lot of his goals that he has described to me is he really wants to improve his functional reaching. He really wants his balance to improve. So that way, he can walk better. He can reach up into cupboards, or when he's grocery shopping, he can reach to lower shelves easier, and also be able to hold himself up nice and stably while he is doing that. So based on those goals, using Neuro Rehab VR's XR therapy system, there's a wide just body of exercises that we can perform. So I have 3 picked out that we're going to be going through today. So one, we're going to start off with just working on cardiovascular efficiency. I want to get his heart rate up. I want to just start working on gross trunk and lower extremity just strengthening. I want to get him primed up and ready. So we're going to do an activity where he's having to dodge balls. His body is the controller in this virtual environment. So we're going to do 3 rounds of that, and it's going to increase in difficulty because we always want to make sure our patients are being challenged. Now, if it's your patient's first time of getting into virtual reality, you always want to make sure that you start a little bit easier just to make them comfortable. Now, due to the way the brain reacts, which we do have some really good research and blogs available on our website that will go more in depth, but the way the brain reacts is that it's a very normal environment for them. So all thanks to the hippocampus, as well as embodied simulations. Which, like I said, go check out that blog on our website. It's really awesome body of research there that just begins to show why the brain does not freak out when it's inside of virtual reality. But once again, err on the side of safety, start a little bit easier with them before you progress and continue to challenge your patient. Okie dokie. So we're going to do the dodgeball game. After that, we're going to strictly focus on his right lower extremity. Basically him doing a long arc quad from sitting. I'm sure we're all if you're a therapist, you're pretty familiar with that activity. We're going to be doing a long arc quad from sitting because the exercise before this, we're going to be standing up, by the way. But the long arc quad exercise we're going to be doing from sitting, it's going to be a soccer ball based game where he is kicking soccer balls towards targets. And then lastly, we're going to finish off with one of my favorite applications where it is a fully simulated grocery store environment, and our patient is tasked with grabbing items in a 360-degree environment all around them, grabbing them and placing them in his cart. So that way we kind of begin on that, reintegration into society feature, as well as just going through a scenario that we're all very familiar with in our day-to-day lives. So we're going to end it with that, because it not only does it take our trunk and the leg priming activity we're doing, but it also takes quad strength, just like with the soccer ball kicking game, but then also adds in the extra challenge of having to reach with his weakened as well as his strong upper extremity. So really trying to hold his balance. So same retail therapy for the end just really over encompasses all of our goals into one. So that kind of demonstrates how we begin to get their goals and then place them into these exercises. So think about it this way. So, say you have just like a regular modality, it has one purpose. Well, with virtual reality, instead of it just being like a one-trick pony, it has multiple different exercises you can do. So there's less cleanup time. You can target different areas of the body without having to even switch modalities at all. And you can stay right in the same place as you're doing this. So virtual reality is incredibly efficient, especially Neuro Rehab VR's XR therapy system. You don't have to lug around a big old heaping pile of technology. It's just a headset and a tablet and some controllers, and that is it. Oh, you missed the agenda? I can go back through it very quickly. So the agenda, I had already talked, we were going to talk about contraindications, which I just talked about. Then we're going to talk about how we can make his goals into virtual reality exercises. We're going to treat using those exercises, and you're going to be able to see that. I'm going to briefly go over documentation and billing. And then in closing, I'm going to allow a time of questions. So if you don't mind further questioning, let's leave that to the end so I can make sure we can get through these VR exercises, and so you can see them, make sure we're efficient. And also, I just want to be very sensitive to y'all's time, because I really appreciate you guys tuning in. So, all right, well, Sal, are you ready to begin?
Ready.
All right, we'll go ahead and start this. So one thing that's very important is you always want to, with the headset, you always want to make sure it's powered on. So we've already made sure it was powered on. We already made sure it was nice and charged. So we're good to go there. So I'm going to go ahead and go to a tablet view real quick, because I want you guys to see what I'm seeing from the tablet. So I'm going to share that. Okay, so what you should be seeing, you can see me scrolling through these exercises right now. Due to the limitations of Zoom, it's not going to be the smoothest video, so I do apologize. However, you can see me scrolling through these exercises, just a vast body that we can go through. Okie dokie. So I'm going to go ahead and start getting things ready to place on, or get the headset on his head. Okay, so Sal, here's the headset right here. So since he has weakness, he's not completely inhibited on his right side, but he does have weakness. So I'm going to go ahead and also kind of challenge him to help me hold the headset up to his head. And so I'm going to come around and kind of assist. So Sal, if you don't mind holding that, placing it up against your eyes, making sure it's nice and snug. Did you see the screen turn on the inside as well?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. We're good to go there. So now I'm going to come around. I'm going to bring this back part down, twist it clockwise to tighten. I want it to be snug. I want it to be comfortable, not uncomfortable. How does that feel?
Feels good.
Feels good? Okay, perfect. So the first activity, just like I was telling y'all earlier, is going to be the dodgeball game. So we're going to go ahead and get into that. I'm going to share the screen so you can see what he's going to be seeing, because from the tablet, I can see everything that he's doing in there. Now, although we do have a way to see exactly what he is doing, you always want to continue to pay attention to your patient. Although we have the video, we really need to be looking at what he's doing at all times. So you can go and stand up for me, Sal. Because by being able to see what they're, paying attention to what he's seeing, or paying attention to what his body is doing outside of VR, is just incredibly important, because you don't want to get so engrossed by your tablet that you then begin to miss out on, say, hey, I actually needed to help him, or hey, he actually started to lose his balance. All right, so we are in this little home menu right here. You're going to be seeing that come up in just a second. Okay, so what he's going to be doing is dodging these balls right now. So now that we've kind of seen what the inside of the tablet looks like, I want to, I'll give you guys one more look into it real quick before we start focusing on what he's doing. So here's what he's seeing. So he is in this little environment right here. In real time, I can make it easier for him by changing motion amplification. I can make the balls come at him faster. I can do a wide body of things, but we're going to start easy. So Sal, what I want you to do is as soon as you see that cannonball and you hear that fire, I want you to do a squat underneath the ball, okay? If you need to weight shift more to your left side, if you do begin to feel yourself go off balance, you can lean more to your left side, but try your hardest to stay evenly shifted between your weight, okay? So we'll start. All righty. First ball's coming. Good, good squat, good squat. So he has a minute to dodge as many of these balls as he possibly can. So we're gamifying therapy, we're gamifying lower extremity strengthening by having him dodge a ball, and with each ball that he dodges, he gets an extra point. So it's all about getting those high scores, right? Fantastic, Sal, you're killing this, you're killing this. Have about 30 seconds left, keep it up, keep it up. So like I said, you always want to keep your eyes on your patient. You can glance here and there at your tablet, but what's really important is we're making sure that we have our eyes on our patient so we can go and we're ready to assist at any point in time, okay? Less than 10 seconds, you got this, buddy. And bam, just like that, scored 15. So he got the max score on easy mode. So we're going to go ahead and increase the difficulty a little bit. So I'm going to change the cannon speed just a tiny bit and make the fire interval to where they fire more frequently. Okay, so Sal, what I want you to do this time, actually real quick, do you need a break or are you good to keep going?
I'm good.
Okay, I thought so. That was a little too easy. Okay, so what we're going to be doing now is I want you to try to take a step with your right foot. As soon as that ball is coming at you, try to dodge the ball. Yes, sir, just like that, just like that. So, okay, let me make this just a little bit harder. I think that'll still be too easy. Okay, there we go. So we'll go ahead and I want you to look at where it says play again. And now we're off. And now, although I allowed him the control, I can also change it for him. Fantastic, Sal. That's a good step. Yeah, good weight shift, Sal. Good weight shift. So as you can see, your body is the controller per se. So any any functional movement that you can think of, you can use to dodge these balls. So it's a very flexible exercise. Like I said, it's not just a one-trick pony. You can do many, many things with virtual reality exercises. All right, less than 10 seconds, Sal. Perfect, 22, that was good. Okie dokie. So now we're gonna do the third round. So Sal, I imagine you're still feeling pretty good, aren't you?
Yeah.
All right, we'll keep going. Okay, so this is an exercise he's pretty familiar with too. So we're gonna do what I call dragging. Now this is hard mode, okay? This is hard mode. So he's been progressing really well. So with dragging, it looks a lot like this. So I'm going to make it to where there's a solid stream of balls coming at him the whole time. And so what he's going to be doing is he's going to stay kind of in a squat. He's going to weight shift to his right, duck underneath the line of balls, shift over to his left leg, stand back up. So it's definitely hard mode. All right, so let's go ahead and get that going. So I'm going to change this real quick. So cannon speed. Be about 0.8. Fire interval is going to be all the way down. All right, Sal, are you ready?
Ready.
Hard mode. So we stay in a squat, we shift to the right, duck underneath the line of balls, shift to your left, stand up, okay? 3, 2, 1. Perfect. So what I like is that he's taking his time. So there's some really good eccentric control here. He's not just flying through it. He's keeping his chest and his head up. Very pleased with that. That's perfect. Looks really, really good. Yeah, let me, I'll go ahead and do that. There you go. Perfect. Going underneath those line balls. So keep on trying to go as slow as you can. I know it starts to get tiring. This is definitely hard mode, y'all. Fantastic, Sal. That's great. That's great. All right. 5 seconds. 5 seconds, Sal. You got this, man. Perfect. Score of 100. Perfect, perfect. So that was hard mode. So we did 3 sets. We continually increased the challenge. And so as you saw, I was able to do that all from the fly just by using my little finger and moving it around on my tablet, which was really great. So I didn't have to press a whole lot of different buttons. I didn't have to change modalities or anything like that. That was really awesome. So Sal, I'm gonna go ahead and put you back to our home screen. It's gonna go black for just a second. Okay, now you should be seeing the little home menu. So Sal, if you want to, we're gonna go ahead and take off the headset just to give you a little bit of a break, and we're gonna talk about the next exercise we're gonna be getting into. Perfect, perfect. So during this time, what I like to do is take one of our sanitization wipes, and you can go ahead and give everything just a nice little wipe off. Especially when you do hard mode. That's right, Sal. That was definitely a hard mode challenge, right? It's a workout. Yeah. Yeah. So that's what's really great. You can continually challenge your patient. Make all those changes in real time, even mid-exercise if you want to. Okay, so we got that wiped off. Okay, so next what we're going to be doing is the soccer ball kicking game, to where he's doing a longer quad. I'm having to kick these balls towards targets. So there's a slightly different setup for this one. So since we're using his right leg, I need to make sure I have the right controller. So with the Pico and with Neuro Rehab VR's XR therapy system, there's a right and a left, so it will differentiate. So here's the right. We also have this leg strap that I'm going to use to slide the controller in there. That's going to provide an avatar representation of that right leg. Now, avatar representation is a neuroplastic principle that VR can directly employ. So think about like when you're doing like mirror therapy using the mirror box. So there is avatar representation of their weaker side doing what their strong side is doing, right? So we're working on neuroplasticity of strengthening that brain to body connection of where that arm is and doing normal functional movement. So VR can employ that same thing without having to use a mirror box, but instead a fully simulated virtual environment. All righty. So Sal, I'm gonna put this strap on you just real quick. I want it to be tight, I don't want it to be uncomfortable. Is that too tight or is that okay?
That's okay.
Okay. Perfect. Okay, so we got the right controller. Now I'm going to slide it into the leg strap. Okay, now that the controller's in there, is it still comfortable for you?
Still good.
Okay, perfect, perfect. Okay, so I've already wiped down the headset just to make sure that he's getting another fresh experience. It's nice and clean. So I'm gonna go ahead and have him put this on his head again. There you go. Perfect, yeah, he's got it. Okay, fantastic. So let me know when you see the screen turn on and you're in our home menu.
Oh, I'm in the home menu.
Perfect, everything good to go? Perfect, perfect. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and change exercises here to the soccer ball kicking game. I'm gonna share the screen in just a second.
I am a little off center.
Okay, so thankfully what's really great, I'm gonna go ahead and hand you this controller. There you go. So you feel for that little middle button in the controller. Let me know when it's all nice and centered for you. So there is a button to where if you do seem like you're off center, you can actually hold the button for 2 seconds. And what it does is it completely reorients the whole play boundary around your center. So it recalibrates to make sure we're getting proper avatar representation, as well as the game just looking normal. So everything good to go, Sal? Great. I'll go ahead and take this controller from you. Thank you so much, sir. Okie dokie. So we're going to do easy. I'm going to start. Okay, so now we're going to calibrate. So there's a calibration feature. So I want his hips and his knees to be at 90. So we'll start calibration. 3, 2, 1. All right, now we are ready to start kicking. And one thing too is that you want to make sure that both controllers are on as well. Because what's really great is there is a battery saving feature. I'm sure that we've all done this, and this is something I wanted to actually talk about before we began. Is we want to make sure that our that our button is all, or that our controller is always blue and on. So in this case, it was not. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. Okay, perfect. All righty, so we're good to go there.
Probably just do a recalibrate.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so now that we turn that controller on, I always like to recalibrate just to make sure that everything tracks nice and normal. All right, so you should be seeing the game load up in just a second, Sal. Perfect. Okay, so calibrate. All right, wiggle that foot around. Good. Looks like we're going good. Perfect, perfect. Okay, and I promise, or just like I promised, there's the game. All right, so he's having to try and kick these targets, or kick the soccer ball towards those targets. So at any point in time, if it seems like he's maybe struggling a little bit, kind of the beautiful thing is that I can change the amplification, which will make his kicks be a little bit bigger than what they actually are. And so as we got to see, that little bit of difference gave him that extra oomph, and it allowed him to hit all of those targets down there. So we'll go ahead and look at where it says yes. So we're going to go to the medium difficulty next. So we're always going to restart calibration every time to make sure we're getting normal avatar representation. Looks fantastic. Okay, so now you can see it's definitely a little bit harder. There's more targets, it's more spread out. Good kick. So you can see the amplification really gave them that extra oomph. Just to make sure they're not getting discouraged. You know, you never want your patient experience to always be good, but you want it to be challenging. But not challenging to the point to where things seem kind of unfair. And so motion amplification gives us that control as the therapist. So let's kind of turn over more to his body. And oh man, I think we got it. Bam, perfect. Now, oh, there's more targets. And he kicked it just right, so he's able to go ahead and get that extra credit, that bonus point. Oh, we got a slight curve in the ball, slightly missed it. Big kick. So that was a pretty big kick. So, you know, say once, and you may notice this too, is that it may seem like they are kicking stronger and stronger as you progress in this game. So what I'm going to go ahead and do now is lower the amplification. So we are on medium difficulty, so I want to go ahead and keep that challenge going. And so he does have a limited amount of balls, so he does have a limited amount of time. So he's going to have 11 more. All right, let's see if we can get it. Oh, just barely shy, Vinny, just barely shy. So we got to pay attention to his legs. So he's kind of readjusting himself. Oh, that was perfect. Perfect kick. All right. Last 2 targets on this level. Let's see if he's got it. That's got to be 1. Yep. Good job, Sal. Good job. Really using that quad very well. So fantastic. Ooh, got some good air on that one. Got a little curve on that last bit. But as you can see, by lowering the motion amplification, it did make the application just a little bit harder for him, which is great. Like I said, we want to keep up that challenge. Oh, so close. So we have 5 balls left. This is the last target. So close. So just got to make those little fine-tune adjustments to try and keep that foot right in the center.
Oh.
Oh. So close. Oh, is that going to get it? Man, you got a heck of a scoop underneath that one. All right, so let's go ahead and do one more round of this before we go to the next application. So let's try one more time. You still feel okay? Do you need a break or anything?
I'm good.
Okay, perfect. So also for further challenge, what you can do, we'll go ahead and calibrate too. You ready?
Mm-hmm.
Perfect. Oh, whoops, got a little distracted. Sorry about that. All right, so anyways, to further increase the challenge of this, you can also begin to incorporate ankle weights. So you can put it right below where the strap ends. And so with ankle weights, you'll further begin to strengthen that quad, as well as even your dorsiflexors. Oh yeah, we got that. Oh, I thought that was a twofer. Perfect. Good aim, good aim. Making those little adjustments. That's great, Sal. That little side kick. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, there we go. Cool. We're progressing, we're progressing. Solid right there. Sal means business right now, y'all. Better watch out. Mean kicking machine. All right, here we go already. So that's also something that's great too, is being able to see your patient. When they get back into it, they want to continue to try and hit all these targets. They want to increase their score. They want to make those improvements. And so since their therapy is gamified, they can see, they have their knowledge of results displayed, which is another neuroplastic principle. They have their knowledge of results displayed directly in front of them via the heads-up display in the headset. So they can see their progress quantifiable via their score. So it really helps just improve overall patient motivation. All right, so I've got 5 more balls. Let's see if we can get it. If we don't, I have a feeling we'll get it next time. Oh, yeah, buddy, that was a solid kick. Good job, Sal. Okay, so we'll go ahead and end this exercise there. So that was 3 rounds. Alrighty, so Sal, do you feel okay? Everything going well with you?
We're good.
Some good kicks, good kicks. So do you like having your score kind of displayed in that top left corner?
Yeah, it's good to see where I'm progressing.
Sure, sure. Okay, the next exercise that we're gonna do, so we're gonna be standing up. And so this is gonna be the grocery shopping experience. So we really worked on trying to improve, cardiovascular efficiency, trying to get them to that heart rate that we want, or just, not even a targeted heart rate, but more than anything, I just want him to be ready. I just want to prime him up for the activity that is going to attack his main goal, which is that functional reaching and balance. So that's such a big thing for him that I really wanted to prime him with those other activities that kind of broke apart, both the core by itself with a little bit of leg and then strictly just the quad on that weakened side. So now he's going to be having to balance the whole time while reaching outside of his base of support all around him to grab these items. So Sal, if you are ready, I'm going to go ahead and take this remote out of the leg strap. So here's your right hand. I'm going to give that to you. Here, I'll place the straps on your hand too, just in case. Perfect. There's that. There's this controller. I'll take out this leg strap. Okay, the leg strap is off. Okay, Sal, here's your other controller. Make a little fist for me. I'll slide this through. Perfect. Okay, here's your other controller. Okay, so we call this exercise retail therapy. So he is going to be in a grocery store. So Sal, if you want to go ahead and stand up for me. And also, just since we've walked through this before, could you go ahead and create a boundary if need be for standing, just if need be. So since we were doing that activity from sitting, what you can do is change the area that's tracking your movement. You can change it from standing to sitting in real time. You just have to click a button, and then you just select a few choices using the controller. Then you're good to go there. Very simple, very easy. It's something that typically I would do before a treatment, but since he has experienced this many times, he now has the knowledge to do it on his own. So that's what's cool, is that while it can be a modality we use in clinic at first, it can also begin to transition to an exercise that they can begin to do on their own. So really, really awesome to have that kind of transition ability with VR technology. Okay, you're good to go. So we'll go ahead and launch. So what we're going to do first, and I just want you to kind of pay attention to what his body is doing, and then I'll share the screen in a bit. So what I want you to do is we're gonna just use your left hand first. So I'm gonna make all the items be on the right side. So we'll go ahead and get that started. So the reason I want all the items to be on the right is because that's going to force him to have to weight shift onto his right leg to grab the items. So he's having to weight shift more, kind of anterior lateral, but he's having to put more emphasis and more weight on his right foot than his left foot when we change aisle side to the right hand. So let's go ahead and use your left hand this time. That was good with the right. We're going to do that next time. Yeah, there we go. Good weight shift. Fantastic. Good reach. And so much like our other exercises, this will then continue to progress and get harder and harder and harder. So there also is a shopping list too. So I'll go ahead and share the screen now. So you can see he's in this grocery shopping environment right now. So he has this list displayed in front of him, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to say, Sal, go ahead and try to memorize what's on that list, okay? Mm-hmm. Okay, I'm going to hide the shopping list, so now you can't see it. So try your hardest to remember what items there were. Good shift. And put a little bit more bend in your knees as well. Just a little bit bend. There we go. There we go. Good reach down. So that's just level 2, and he's already having to reach pretty far down. Okay, next shopping list. So there's many items, many items. I'm gonna let you collect the first 2. And also you can collect these in any order that you want to as well. But I'm gonna do the first 2. And then I'm gonna have you try and memorize the last 3. Perfect. Good job checking that shopping list. Okay, I'm about to take it away from you. 3, 2, 1. Shopping list is hit. Good. Good reach. And so something we've also done with some patients as well is that you can use weighted gloves as well to further challenge the upper extremities and the core. All right, we got the next list. So there's a total of 10 levels. Good reach, good reach. And so there is a pretty cool feature about this activity to where it's beginning to track and read just how close he's getting to these items. And then it will then begin to make adjustments on its own without me even telling it to do anything. So really frees up, my extra hand to where, if you do have a patient who really is struggling quite a bit, then what's great is that since I do have an extra to what his body is doing versus the the tablet, because I can always peek over here. I can see that he's grabbing the item. Sal, you feeling okay?
Yeah,
Okay, not getting too fatigued or tired?
I'm good.
Okay, good. All right, fantastic. There we go. So the shopping list has gotten even larger and it just continues to get larger. The items will then begin to be further behind him. So he's gonna have to twist and reach. He's gonna have to reach all the way up and then all the way down. So literally, I'm not having to create a virtual store. It's creating that store for me. I'm not having to set up everything in real life. Everything is set up for me right there with lifelike items, things like peanut butter and soda, even things like fresh vegetables and meat. All of those items are on there. So they are working on grabbing lifelike items, placing them inside their shopping cart to complete their shopping list. So the cleanup is so tiny. Good reach, good job, man. Good weight shift. I saw you had to use your left a little bit more there, but that's totally fine. I love the energy of that right. Oh yeah, there you go. Big reach, man. You got this. Good job, Sal. Fantastic. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and exit out of the application and I'm gonna quit. And so what's also great is that as soon as they're done with their exercise, not only do they get their knowledge and results, so they get to see just, oh yeah, I'm gonna take the headset off real quick. Good job, Sal. And I'll take those two controllers as well. So they get to see the knowledge of results. They get to see how many items they picked up, how long it took them to pick up those, and the time it took between each item to pick up, as well as how far outside of their base of support did they reach. So this is all quantifiable data that I can put within my SOAP notes to not only show medical necessity in the way that this modality is in fact helping my patient, but also it makes my job easier. So I'm not having to craft up all these different phrases and buzzwords and things like that. It does it all for me with this headset. And so in real time, all this is being stored. And so what's great is that I can export it as a PDF anytime I want to. And I can place that in the digital or the physical chart of my patient, as well as use it directly in my SOAP notes. All righty. So after that, we would then sanitize the headset. You can use any medical grade wipe, at least for Neuro Rehab VR's XR therapy system. Any medical grade wipe you can use to wipe off the facial interface in the center, which I'll go ahead and show you. So you can use a medical grade wipe to wipe off that the facial interface, as well as the side buttons if they're having to press those when creating a new boundary. As well as the power button if they ever touch that. So you can use one of those wipes to wipe off the entire headset. The only different medical wipe that you do need is one designed specifically for glass because of the lenses right there. So you do need a specialty wipe to clean those. You can get a box of 100 for like $3.25 at Walmart or any place where you would get your normal medical grade supplies. They're very, very cheap. And they do a good job of making sure we don't damage the lenses by using those really harsh medical grade wipes on those. So once again, you got to use the glass ones to clean off those lenses on the inside. And same for the controllers and the straps as well. Okie dokie. Well, Sal, thank you so much, by the way. You did a fantastic job. Always great to work with you. So we're going to transition now to talking more about now documentation and billing. So we've integrated our patients' goals into virtual reality exercise. So now it's time to talk about the nitty gritty, which is documentation and billing. So, so there is what you would bill for is exactly what you perform. Were you working more on therapeutic exercise? Then use that CPT code. or you're working more on neuromuscular re-education, then you would just simply bill for that. So, you know, for instance, if you did 30 minutes, you would just do 2 units of neuromuscular re-education or 2 units of therapeutic exercise. And so, you know, you would write something very similar using the buzzwords and some of the phrases that it gives you, not only on the tablet, because thankfully Neuro Rehab VR system does include a wide body of phrases that you can use in your, a wide body of things you can use in your documentation. So you definitely want to make sure you're just simply describing what they are doing. So, you know, patient is work towards improving, you know, their functional balance and functional reach by reaching outside of basic support towards objects in a lifelike, fully simulated grocery store. You know, something similar to that, just to make sure that, you know, you are fully documenting what you are doing so that insurance companies knows, as well as any other therapist who is going to be working with this patient after you, can then begin to realize, okay, they put on a headset, they're in a virtual environment. You know, they performed functional reaching, they did weight shifting, they were working on trying to improve their balance. And then in the assessment portion, you know, you would write something very similar to just like utilizing virtual reality, the virtual reality modality led to an increased weight shift ability or an increased exercise tolerance when compared to the prior session without virtual reality performing the same exercise. Different things like that. So CPT codes, you got the neuromuscular re-education, you have the therapeutic exercise. Also, if you're working on therapeutic activity, you can also bill for that as well. So those 3 CPT codes do in fact work. It's ones that we have been billing for, you know, just in my time of treating with VR over the past 4 years, haven't gotten any knockback on it. So it is seen as an actual medical grade modality, which is amazing. Okie dokie. So let's see. So that's kind of just some brief documentation billing. And so now let's go ahead and kind of in closing, I just want to give you guys some time to where y'all can, you know, ask me or ask us any questions. We do have one of my colleagues, Veena, we have her in the chat as well. So if y'all have any questions, you can go over to Q&A. And I'd love for you guys to ask some questions and answer them as best as possible. We have about 7 minutes, I believe, until we wrap things up, or 6 minutes until we wrap things up. So yeah, any questions you have, like I said, I'd love to answer them.
There is one question from Patrick. I thought it'd be good for you to answer. Apart from seizures, are there any other medical contraindications for using VR?
Sure, there are not any other. Yep, there are not any other. It's really just the epilepsy or any kind of history of seizures or seizures via visual stimuli. Those are the main contraindications. But that's what's great about the modality is that it can really be used by most anybody as long as they're as long as they don't have that. All right, let's see. Does the system generate reports to show to the patient? Yes, and that's actually what I was telling you about, is that you can export that quantifiable data that I had mentioned earlier. You can export that via PDF and put it in their digital or their physical charts. And your patient also gets to see their actual results at the end. And it's presented in the same way it's presented to us. So it tells you how far they functionally reached outside of their base of support. Tells you how much time between each item, and it's tracking that so you can compare and contrast between each individual session. All right, let's see. All right, what were the reimbursement codes? Okay, so the reimbursement codes, so it was therapeutic exercise, neuromuscular re-education, and therapeutic activity. Those 3 codes you can bill for virtual reality exercise. But one thing you have to remember, you bill for what you did. Was it more along the lines of TheraX? Was it more along the lines of neuromuscular re-education? So those are some things you really need to consider when billing for VR. However, just like we always do, bill for what you did. Whatever the CPT code you use, it has to describe the exercises you did. So since we were working on weight shifting and balance in retail therapy, as well as the functional reaching while holding that balance, I would charge for neuromuscular re-education because we're trying to simply re-educate that right leg to tolerate weight shifting, to have, you know, normal weight between each leg and to have a normalized strength. All right, let's see. So I'll go ahead and answer this. Are there home units available? So like I had mentioned, how we can, you know, this virtual reality technology works as a great transitionatory piece of tech to where we can work with it, but then it's easy enough to use to where even the patient could then begin to go through the exercises that we did in clinic. So yes, actually, the great thing is that the home unit is the same as this unit. And it's something that we are beginning to trial, beginning to kind of work with right now. So it's a very exciting point in time right now. Let's see. How to use this in patients? Yeah, we did. Yeah, so that's actually a really great question. So I haven't gotten the chance to work with many patients who have had that, but those who do have, excuse me, those that do have that, so it generates two different images in each eye. And so what's really great is that sometimes it can even lead to beginning to not provocate the symptoms quite as much, due to differentiating the, or due to having the two different lenses displaying two different images and then putting them together. So any suggestions on the best practices while designing the virtual exercises? I'm a little bit confused by that question, but I guess just to go in depth a little bit more. So our exercises are designed from the ground up with a team of not only you know, PhD software engineers, but as well as doctors that we have on staff and doctors of physical therapy as well. So we do have a wide body of professionals that help us design these apps. We're also already in several different clinics around the United States. And so from our times working with these different clinics around the US, what has really been amazing is that they have they've also given some advice or even given us, you know, some things that they would like to work on so that the exercises would be more sensitive to their patient population. And so because of that, we can actually begin to adapt every single one of our exercises with brand new, like little details, brand new objectives and goals based on what their, you know, what a need would be for the clinics that do in fact get our technology. Okay, so I had seen, let's see, I think I'd seen a question about how much does the, some of these questions were already answered. That's great. Glad to see that. Thank you, Veena, for answering some of those. But yeah, so I guess the last thing I'm going to share is I'm not seeing any more questions come in, is that you can always reach out to us via our website, neurorehabvr.com, where, you know, if you are interested in wanting to employ virtual reality exercises into your clinics, we are more than happy to begin to work with you, and we're excited at the prospect of working with you as well, and, you know, walk alongside you in the wacky world of physical therapy and occupational therapy. We'd absolutely love to get that opportunity as we all begin to strive for best practice for our patients. So yeah, you can reach out to us once again on our website, neurorehabvr.com, on the Eventbrite page where you guys signed up at. There is a link to our website if you do forget. However, I'll go ahead and just chat, or I'll go ahead and actually put it in the chat. So you can find the link right there in the chat.
Arik, I just added it to the chat.
Okay, perfect. I love it. That's great. And then I guess also I'd like to add my email, so you can email me at any point in time if you have any further questions. Yeah, you can email me anytime. I'd love to answer more. But yeah, you are more than welcome. Yeah, I'm glad that you guys were able to come out. We look forward to heck, even doing more of these as well. So yeah, thanks everybody for joining in. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did. And I look forward to hopefully speaking to some of you in the very, very near future. All right, y'all have a wonderful day. Bye, y'all.